12 vitamin D deficiency symptoms you need to know. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, but experts also refer to it as a hormone, as it has a hormone-like effect, and we do not get it mainly through food, as common with other vitamins. Instead, our body system produces vitamin D itself, but needs UV radiation from the sun for this. Vitamin D deficiency often eventuates in people who spend most of their time indoors and rarely outdoors. Exposure to the sun is the primary source of vitamin D synthesis by the body. Deficient, we are more easily subject to fatigue and other minor inconveniences. In today's video, we will share with you the 12 vitamin D deficiency symptoms you need to know. Number 1. Depression and psyche. Studies show that vitamin D deficiency can have an impact on mental health. Depression, stress, mood swings, and anxiety, among other things, can be aggravated by a deficiency. Some studies have already dealt with the connection between a low vitamin D level and depression, especially with winter depression. People with depression had significantly lower vitamin D values than healthy people. Some studies suggest that vitamin D supplements could improve depressive symptoms in people with vitamin D deficiency. However, the study situation does not allow specific recommendations. Due to its hormone-like effect, vitamin D can also support the functioning of the brain. In this way, it helps our mind make decisions, process information, and store it correctly. Do you find this video interesting so far? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and ring the notification bell if you want to see more content like this. Number 2. Hair loss. It has long been known that vitamins and minerals affect hair growth. For example, iron deficiency, an undersupply of biotin, and zinc deficiency harms the hair root's health. Research in the test tube suggests that vitamin D could also be involved in active hair growth. Vitamin D therefore promotes the production of receptors in the hair roots, which stimulate growth. Number 3. Fatigue and muscle weakness. Vitamin D is synthesized from the sun's rays, which are scarce in winter. It is an essential vitamin that increases the absorption capacity of the intestine of calcium, good for bones, cartilage, and teeth. Vitamin D thus helps to strengthen bone mineralization. It also plays a role in preserving muscle mass. Therefore, a deficiency can lead to muscle weakness, muscle fatigue, loss of strength, and difficulty moving. Number 4. Skin diseases. Vitamin D also appears to play a crucial role in the skin. The vitamin helps wound healing and helps the protective skin barrier to develop properly. A vitamin D deficiency can probably contribute to skin disease development because of, for example, eczema, psoriasis, and vitiligo. Studies show promising results concerning vitamin D supplements and atopic dermatitis. Neurodermatitis patients are very susceptible to bacterial infections of the skin. In one study, patients with a low vitamin D level suffered significantly from such infections. Researchers are currently investigating how vitamin D supplements can positively influence the course of psoriasis and vitiligo. Number 5. The accumulation of calcium in the bones is reduced. The body needs vitamin D to store calcium in the bones. Even if you take in enough calcium with food, it is not entirely usable if vitamin D is missing. This can reduce bone density and osteoporosis develops, or the bones soften, osteomalacia. A late sign of both diseases is a tendency to fracture. Number 6. Disorders of calcium homeostasis and phosphate metabolism. In the bone, there is homeostasis, a balance, between demineralization, i.e. calcium and phosphate release, and mineralization. Vitamin D contributes an essential role in calcium balance and is responsible for demineralization. A vitamin D deficiency can lead to disorders of calcium homeostasis and phosphate metabolism, which negatively affects the bone's metabolism and structure. This can eventually result in an increased risk of fractures and bone loss. Number 7. Osteomalacia or rickets. Vitamin D plays an essential part in bone health. If the bones have not yet finished growing in length, as is the case in childhood, a vitamin D deficiency can cause rickets. This severe mineralization disorder of the skeleton is based, among other things, on a problem in calcium and phosphate metabolism. A soft and easily deformable bone system, especially in the extremities, the chest, and the pelvic floor bones, is then the result, also known as osteomalacia. However, in adults, the effect of a vitamin D deficiency on the skeleton are no longer severe as the length of growth has already been completed. Nevertheless, the entire skeleton's pain, especially in the lower back, is a reference to a vitamin D deficiency. Number 8. Osteoporosis. A vitamin D deficiency contributes to the development of osteoporosis in old age. In contrast to osteomalacia, the bone mass and the bone structure recede. The consequences are then an increased risk of fractures, especially in the vertebral bodies and the femoral neck. Vitamin D and calcium are the essential building blocks for healthy bone integrity, which is why care should be taken to ensure sufficient intake. Number 9. Heart diseases. Patients with heart disease have statistically lower levels of vitamin D. Lower concentrations of this vitamin lead to higher concentrations of calcium, which builds up in the arteries. These calcium plaques dramatically increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. Low vitamin D levels can cause other conditions that increase stroke and disease risk like hypertension, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes. However, vitamin D deficiency only is not the trigger here. An unhealthy lifestyle such as smoking, increased alcohol consumption, and lack of exercise also play a decisive role. Number 10. Constant pain, general discomfort, and pain. The effects of vitamin D on pain and weakness vary widely among people. There will be joint pain, tingling sensations in the extremities, and unnecessary muscle pain. At first, it is bearable, but the more the body is deprived of this vitamin, the more these symptoms worsen. When this vitamin is metabolized, it improves muscle contractions. It strengthens muscle tissue and bones. Without it, the muscles do not function efficiently, which leads to breakdown and weakness. Number 11. Sleep problems. If you are having insomnia problems, sleep apnea, light sleep, or frequent awakenings, it could be linked to a vitamin D deficiency. D2 in particular has a significant role in our natural sleep cycles. Low levels of this vitamin prevent the production of melatonin and affect the steadiness of the circadian rhythm. This circadian rhythm is our internal sleep clock. However, if a vitamin D deficiency is suspected, therapy should not be started independently. A medical examination with a blood test will provide information. This is the only way to confirm a vitamin D deficiency and exclude other possible diseases as the cause. Number 12. Infections. One of the major functions of vitamin D is to help the immune system stay robust and responsive to play its role the best and help us stay healthy for a long time. If you tend to get sick often and get flu and cold quickly, you may have a deficiency. Respiratory problems can also be closely linked to its deficiency. Your body can only manufacture vitamin D if it is exposed to sufficient sunlight or with the help of foods rich in vitamin D. Vitamin D supplements are particularly recommended for people who work a lot in the office and older people who are only rarely outside. Your body best absorbs vitamin D in combination with vitamin K2. If a deficit is suspected, this should be discussed with the family doctor, who will then make an exact diagnosis. It is advisable to stay in the sun for 10 to 30 minutes to meet the daily requirement of vitamin D. Did you find this video helpful or informative? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. Don't forget to like and share. Stay healthy!